The gymnasium lights buzzed like angry hornets, casting harsh shadows over the sea of cheering faces, but Alex Harper couldn't hear the victory chants anymore. His father's bellow sliced through the noise. "You're disgusting, a freak," as the leaked text messages from his phone lit up the jumbotron like a public execution. In that frozen instant, with confetti raining down like false applause, Alex realized the championship trophy in his hands was the last thing tethering him to the life he pretended was his. He bolted from the court before the final buzzer even faded, sneakers squeaking against the polished floor as teammates' stunned stares burned into his back. The small town of Willow Creek, Ohio, where Friday nights meant football and Sundays meant church, had always whispered about those kinds in hushed tones, but now the whispers would roar. Alex's chest heaved with sobs he swallowed down, tasting salt and betrayal, as he shoved through the emergency exit into the crisp autumn night, the door slamming shut on the only world he knew. Streetlights flickered like hesitant allies along Main Street, their orange glow pooling on cracked sidewalks lined with picket fences and faded American flags. Alex's phone vibrated relentlessly, texts from friends turning to ice pics. "Fag. Liar. Don't come back." He clutched the championship jersey tighter, its gold letters spelling Harper 12, now a mocking epithet. At 17, he'd hidden his truth behind perfect spirals and locker room bravado, dreaming of college scouts who saw potential, not perversion. But one careless moment with a teammate's borrowed phone, a flirty message to an online stranger, and it all unraveled. He didn't go home. The two-story colonial with its wraparound porch, where his mom baked apple pies and his dad coached Little League with iron-fisted pride, felt like a cage now. Instead, Alex veered toward the old mill by the river, its rusted skeleton a haunt for kids skipping class. The water rushed below, black and unforgiving, mirroring the void yawning inside him. He sank onto a weathered bench, the chills seeping through his jeans, and let the tears come, hot, silent rivers carving deeper into his resolve. Hours blurred into a numb haze. Dawn painted the sky in reluctant pinks when his best friend, Jamie, found him there. Jamie Ruiz, with her sharp bob haircut and sharper wit, had been his anchor since third grade, the one who'd caught him staring too long at the cute boy in art class and never judged. She dropped beside him, her backpack thudding to the ground, and wrapped an arm around his shoulders without a word. "They don't get it," she finally said, voice steady as the river's current. "But I do, and we're getting you out." Jamie had always been the planner, the one mapping escape routes from boring classes or overbearing parents. Her own family, Mexican-American immigrants who'd fled cartel violence for this land of opportunity, knew prejudices sting all too well. "Pack light," she urged, pulling out her phone to book a Greyhound ticket. "Chicago. My cousin Rosa's got a spare room in Boys Town. It's like us, Alex. Real us." By noon, they were on the bus, Willow Creek shrinking in the rearview like a bad dream. Alex stared out the window at cornfields giving way to interstates, his mind replaying the gymnasium's chaos. His dad's purpled face, the coach's awkward cough, the girl's gasp who'd forwarded the texts out of spite. Shame coiled in his gut like barbed wire, but beneath it simmered something fiercer, defiance, fragile as a fledgling flame. Chicago hit like a fever dream. The Loop's skyscrapers clawed at the clouds, horns blared in a symphony of indifference, and the air hummed with possibility. Rosa greeted them at the Greyhound station with hugs that smelled of cumin and home, her apartment a cozy chaos of rainbow flags and half-read queer theory books. At 25, she was a barista by day, activist by night, her laugh a weapon against the world's cruelties. "Mi casa es su casa," she declared, shoving tacos into their hands. But Rule 1, no hiding. Here you bloom. Boys Town pulsed with life Alex had only glimpsed in secret YouTube videos. Drag brunches spilling laughter onto sidewalks, murals of intertwined hands in every hue, couples holding hands without a second glance. On his first night, Jamie dragged him to Sidetrack, a bar where show tunes blasted and shirts came off in playful jest. He nursed a soda, eyes wide at the kaleidoscope of identities. Trans folks owning the dance floor, leather daddies swapping stories, a cluster of Asian queer artists debating art over craft beers. That's when he saw Theo, leaning against the bar, all lean muscle and quiet intensity, with skin like polished mahogany and locks tied back in an effortless knot. Theo's smile was a slow burn, aimed at no one and everyone, but when their eyes met across the room, Alex felt the air thicken. Theo was 20, a history major at DePaul, volunteering at the local LGBTQ center. First time? He asked later, sliding onto the stool beside Alex, voice smooth as Lake Michigan's breeze. Yeah, Alex admitted, fingers twisting his napkin. Feels like another planet. Theo chuckled, low and warm. Nah, it's Earth. Just the good parts. They talked for hours, about Willow Creek's suffocating sameness, Theo's own journey from a strict Baptist family in Atlanta, the books that saved them both. Theo quoted Auden, "We must love one another or die." Alex's heart stuttered, not from fear this time, but from the terrifying thrill of connection. Weeks melted into a rhythm. Alex enrolled in community college, crashing Rose's couch while job hunting at coffee shops. Jamie landed a gig at a vintage store, her sketches of bold queer icons starting to sell online. Theo became a constant, study sessions in dingy diners turning to late-night walks along the lake, where they'd share dreams under starless city skies. Theo's touch was tentative at first, a brush of hands, a lingering gaze, but it built like a storm, charged with unspoken promises. Yet shadows lingered. Alex's nightmares replayed the shaming, waking him in sweats, convinced every laugh was mockery. He'd pull away from Theo, citing homework or fatigue, the old walls rebuilding brick by brick. "You're safe here," Theo would murmur, but doubt was a persistent ghost. Then came the letter, from his mom, postmarked Willow Creek, words trembling on the page. "Your father needs time. But I miss my boy. Come home for Thanksgiving." The invitation twisted like a knife. Home, where love came with conditions, where history repeated its cruelties. Alex crumpled the paper, but Theo found the fragments, piecing them together with gentle fingers. "You don't have to go alone," he said, "but you do have to face it. That's how we rewrite the story." As autumn leaves turned to frost, Alex grappled with the pull of roots and the lure of wings. Little did he know, buried in his grandmother's attic back in Ohio, lay a leather-bound journal from 1942. A great-uncle's confessions of forbidden love amid wartime rationing, a testament that the Harpers had always carried secrets in their blood. History, it turned out, wasn't just on his side. It was woven into him, waiting to be unraveled. The journal's existence was a whisper Alex hadn't yet heard, but its echoes rippled through his days like unseen currents. Thanksgiving loomed, a deadline etched in turkey-scented dread. Theo drove him back to Willow Creek in his beat-up Honda, the 6-hour trek filled with playlists of indie folk anthems and Theo's steady anecdotes about queer icons who triumphed over worse. Bayard Rustin organized the March on Washington, Theo said, eyes on the road. Black, gay, shunned by allies, yet he changed the world. "You're in that lineage, Alex." Alex nodded, but the words felt distant, like stars too far to touch. Willow Creek welcomed them with bare trees and judgmental stares. The Harper house stood sentinel on Elm Street, its windows glowing with forced festivity. His mom, Ellen, enveloped him in a hug that smelled of lavender and regret, her eyes red-rimmed. "He's trying," she whispered of his dad, Mark, who lurked in the kitchen, carving knife in hand, avoiding eye contact. Dinner was a minefield. Mark's silence thundered, broken only by grunts over mashed potatoes. Jamie, invited as buffer, cracked jokes about Chicago's wild turkeys, literal ones, to lighten the air, but tension coiled tighter with each pass of the gravy boat. Then Mark cleared his throat, voice gravelly. "Heard you're shacked up with some activist crowd. That fix you." Theo, seated across, met the challenge with calm steel. "It's not about fixing, sir. It's about living true." The room iced over. Ellen's fork clattered. Jamie's foot nudged Alex under the table. Mark's face modeled. "This family's got values. Church values. You think prancing around changes that?" Alex's pulse hammered. "Prancing? Dad, I won state for this team. I fixed your truck. When's that enough?" The words erupted, raw and unfiltered, years of swallowed fire spilling out. Mark shoved back his chair, storming to the den, but not before muttering. History's full of sinners like you. Don't drag us down. That night, alone in his boyhood room, posters of Tom Brady yellowing on the walls, Alex rifled through drawers, seeking solace in faded relics. A shoebox tumbled from the closet shelf, spilling letters tied with twine, yellowed photos of stern-faced ancestors. One envelope caught his eye, addressed to Elias Harper in spidery script, postmarked 1943. Elias, his great-uncle, the family ghost, shipped off to the Pacific and never spoken of. Curiosity overrode exhaustion. Alex slid it open under flashlight glow. The words inside blurred through tears. My dearest Samuel, the nights here are endless, bombs falling like God's wrath, but your letters are my shield. Remember our dance at the USO Hall? Your hand in mine, the world blind for a moment. If I don't return, know I loved fiercely, without shame. Yours in eternity, Elias. Alex's breath hitched. Samuel, a soldier's name, inked with passion that mirrored his own hidden aches. Elias, the uncle whose tragic war loss masked a deeper silence. He didn't sleep. Dawn found him poring over the box, unearthing a journal bound in cracked leather. Elias's handwriting filling pages with sketches of Pacific atolls and confessions of stolen kisses in foxholes. They call it weakness, this love, but it's the only strength I know. Father would disown me, as he did Uncle Theo for his ways. Yet the ancients, Sappho, Walt Whitman, sang our song long before. We are not the aberration. Time proves it. Theo stirred awake on the air mattress, locks splayed like a halo. What VE you got? Alex thrust the journal forward, voice cracking. Proof. We're not alone. Not ever. They read together, Theo's historian's eye lighting up at references to Oscar Wilde's trials, the Stonewall whispers decades away. This changes everything, Theo breathed. Your bloodline's queer as hell. Elias fought for a country that wouldn't fight for him. Sound familiar? But Willow Creek wasn't ready for revelations. Word of the boyfriend spread like flu season. Church ladies clucked over coffee. Old teammates unfriended him online. Jamie, sensing the siege, plotted their escape back to Chicago, but Alex lingered, drawn to the attic where Grandma Harper's trunks gathered dust. Ellen, catching him there, softened. Elias was my uncle. Sensitive boy. Where took him? They said. Her voice wavered. Found his things after you left. Kept them for. Someday. Some days now, Mom. Alex hugged the journal close. He was like me. Loved a man. And he was brave. Ellen's eyes widened, then filled. Oh, honey. I suspected. Your dad. He lost his brother young, to something unspoken. It hardened him. The admission cracked open old wounds, but also a door, tentative steps toward understanding. Mark's redemption wasn't swift. A week later, over cold coffee in the garage, he grunted an apology of sorts. Don't need details. Just, don't hate me forever. It was an absolution, but it was air, enough for Alex to breathe. As they packed the Honda, snow flurrying like confetti reborn, Theo squeezed his hand. History's your ally now. But so am I. Back in Boys Town, the journal became their talisman. Alex digitized pages for a local history project, Theo connecting dots to broader narratives. How gay soldiers in World War II formed underground bonds, their loves fueling resilience against tyranny. Their own bond deepened, kisses traded in quiet moments, not as rebellion but as reclamation. Yet, as winter gripped the city, a new shadow loomed. Jamie's sketches caught a gallery's eye, but the offer demanded she relocate to New York, alone. You're my family. Alex protested over diner fries, the weight of potential loss pressing like Elias's unspoken goodbyes. Jamie's eyes sparkled with ambition and fear. And you'll always be. But this? It's my spiral. Yours is here with him. The farewell at Union Station was a tear-streaked blur, her train vanishing into steel veins, leaving Alex adrift in the crowd's anonymity. Solitude sharpened his edges. Classes blurred. The center's volunteer shifts became refuge, where he shared Elias's story with wide-eyed teens fresh from their own shaming. You're not the first, he'd say, voice gaining steel. And you won't be the last to rise. Theo noticed the shift, pride mingling with concern. You're healing, but don't forget to feel. One blizzard night, as winds howled against Rose's windows, they curled on the couch, journal open between them. Theo traced Elias's sketches, fingers lingering on Alex's. What if we made our own history? The question hung, electric. Alex leaned in, their lips meeting soft and sure, a promise forged in firelight, deep as the rivers they'd crossed. But fate, ever the dramatist, had twists in store. A call from Willow Creek shattered the idyll. Grandma Harper, frail in her nursing home, whispered of a final secret before slipping into sleep. Elias's Samuel. He's alive. In Florida. Find him. The revelation hit like a rogue wave, appending the fragile piece Alex had stitched from journal pages and Theo's steady gaze. Grandma's words, relayed by a teary Ellen over crackling line, carried the weight of decades. Samuel O'Reilly, 102 years young, residing in a St. Petersburg retirement village, his life a quiet archive of loves lost and found. He wrote to Elias till the end, Ellen said. Your gran kept the letters. Said it was time you knew the whole thread. Alex's mind reeled. Elias's eternity wasn't a grave but a lifeline, stretching across oceans and years. Theo, ever the anchor, booked flights before doubt could root. This is your legacy calling, he said, packing with efficient grace. We're answering. Rosa waved them off at O'Hare, her blessing a fierce. Tragan de vuelta historias que inspiren. Bring back stories that inspire. Florida unfolded in palm-fringed languor, a far cry from Ohio's frost or Chicago's grit. The Sunshine Villas smelled of citrus polish and faint regret, residents shuffling like ghosts of their bolder selves. Samuel's room overlooked a koi pond, walls papered in faded travel posters, Paris cafes, Hawaiian beaches, remnants of dreams deferred. He sat by the window, silver hair haloed in sunlight, eyes sharp as cut glass despite the years. You've got Elias's chin, Samuel rasped upon introduction, his Irish lilt softened by time. No preamble, no shock, just a nod, as if expecting them. Over weak tea and butter cookies, the floodgates opened. Samuel had been a Brooklyn boy, mechanic's son, drafted alongside Elias in 42. Their bond sparked in boot camp foxholes, two greenhorns sharing smokes and secrets under Carolina stars. He was poetry in a world of mud, Samuel recalled, voice cracking. Row me verses while I fixed jeeps. Called it our code. The war scattered them, Elias to Guadalcanal's hell, Samuel to North Africa's sands. But letters bridged the abyss, coded in metaphors of home fires and eternal patrols. Elias's death in 44, a sniper's bullet during a midnight raid, arrived via telegram. Regret to inform. Samuel mourned in silence, returning to a Brooklyn that viewed his grief as mere soldier's sorrow. I married for cover, had kids who never knew, he said, gaze distant. But Elias? He was my north. Alex's throat tightened, mirroring the ache in Samuel's words. He pulled the journal from his bag, pages whispering as they turned. Samuel's fingers, gnarled but sure, traced familiar lines. My boy's hand, he murmured. Tears carved tracks down weathered cheeks. Theo, silent witness, squeezed Alex's knee under the tray table, his presence a quiet bulwark. They stayed 3 days, unearthing more. A tin of Elias's medals, hidden love letters from Paris leaves, even a pressed hibiscus from a stolen Hawaiian shore pass. Samuel gifted Alex a pocket watch, engraved eternity awaits, Elias's promise. Tell the world, the old man urged. Not for pity, for truth. We weren't deviants. We were human. History forgets the quiet ones. Don't let it. The flight home was a cocoon of reflection. Alex clutched the watch, its tick a metronome to buried heartbeats. He survived everything, he told Theo, head on his shoulder. Lost love, war, silence, and still shone. Theo kissed his temple. Like you will. Chicago's lights welcomed them back, but the visit stirred undercurrents. Alex dove into the center's archives, proposing an exhibit, Hidden Threads, Queer Lives in American History. Theo co-led, their synergy a quiet revolution, nights blurred in library stacks, laughter punctuating debates over timelines. Spring thawed the city, blooming cherry trees along the lakefront mirroring Alex's unfolding. Yet conflict brewed subtly. A donor to the center, a silver-haired philanthropist named Victor Lang, took interest in the exhibit, too much interest. Victor, polished and persuasive, hosted a fundraiser at his Gold Coast penthouse, toasting Alex as the fresh voice we need. But his eyes lingered, compliments veering personal. Such fire in one so young. Reminds me of my wilder days. Theo bristled at the gala, champagne flutes clinking like warning bells. He's circling, he muttered post-event, as they navigated Michigan Avenue's neon haze. Alex laughed it off, just networking, but unease gnawed. Victor's mentorship escalated. Lunches at Gibson's, invitations to private art viewings. Gifts arrived, a first-edition Ginsberg, cufflinks etched with rainbow motifs. Flattery masked intent, but Alex, scarred by Willow Creek's judgments, mistook persistence for patronage. The twist came mid-May, a sticky evening at a center panel discussion. Victor cornered Alex backstage, hand on his elbow, breath wine-soured. "You're wasted on that earnest boy. I see your potential, real power, not pamphlets." The advance was subtle, a lean too close, but it shattered the illusion. Alex recoiled, heart pounding. "I'm not for sale." Victor's smile curdled. "Pity. History favors the adaptable." Word spread, twisted of course. Whispers in the center's halls painted Alex as opportunistic, sleeping his way to funding. Colleagues side-eyed. A board member pulled Theo aside. "Is he professional?" Theo defended fiercely, but doubt seeded cracks. "Tell me it's nothing." He confronted Alex that night, voice laced with hurt. The apartment, once sanctuary, felt accusatory, journal mocking from the shelf. "It's not," Alex insisted, but evidence mounted. Victor's emails, innocuous on surface, laced with innuendo Alex had ignored in ambition's glow. Shame resurfaced, Willow Creek's echoes amplified. "I thought I was past this, being the villain in my own story." Theo paced, locks swinging like pendulums. "We're a team. Secrets erode us." The argument escalated, words as weapons. Theo's fear of loss clashing with Alex's terror of taint. They parted in silence, Theo crashing at a friend's, Alex alone with ghosts. Days blurred into isolation. The exhibit faltered, volunteers drifting. Jamie called from New York, her voice a lifeline. "Fly here." Perspective's a hell of a drug. But pride anchored him. Instead, he turned to Samuel's watch, its tick urging confrontation. The breaking point arrived via certified mail, Victor's retraction of funding, citing misaligned visions, code for scandal. The center teetered, Rosa rallied, but morale cratered. Alex stormed Victor's office, journal in hand like a shield. "You weaponize history to control it." Elias and Samuel? They endured worse than your games. Victor leaned back, smug. Youth's naivety. Run along. Defeated, Alex wandered the lakeshore, waves lapping like accusations. Theo found him there at dusk, silhouette etched against the horizon. "I overreacted," Theo admitted, voice raw. "Feared losing you two. Whatever this city's temptations are." Alex turned, tears salting the wind. "You're my temptation. My truth." They collided in a fierce embrace, apologies dissolving in salt and resolve. Renewed, they salvaged the exhibit, crowdfunding, community bake sales, Samuel's video testimonial streaming live from Florida. Opening night drew crowds, faces alight with recognition. A trans elder nodding at World War II photos, a teen clutching a parent's hand. Victor slunk in shadows, but his sway crumbled under authenticity's weight. Yet the real climax brewed back home. Mark called, voice uncharacteristically soft. "Your grandma's things, more letters." Elias's dad knew. Forgave, in the end. The olive branch, extended across miles, hinted at mending. As summer scorched the pavement, Alex pondered return, not surrender, but reclamation. Summer's heat wave baked Chicago into a pressure cooker, mirroring the simmer in Alex's veins. The exhibit's success, reviews in the Tribune, a spot on local NPR, propelled him into reluctant spotlight, interviews probing his journey. He spoke of Elias and Samuel with fervor, but each microphone dredged old shames, forcing him to confront how far he'd come, how much ground remained. Theo thrived beside him, their partnership a quiet legend in Boys Town circles, but private moments revealed fissures. Theo's grad school applications loomed, whispers of fellowships in Boston or D.C. "You're leaving?" Alex asked one sweltering night, sheets tangled in Rose's guest room, fan whirring futilely overhead. Theo traced lazy circles on his chest. Not without you. But opportunities. They're rare for us. Willow Creek tugged meanwhile, Mark's call evolving into tentative emails, photos of repaired fences, queries about the exhibit. Ellen enclosed a package, more artifacts, a daguerreotype of Elias and Samuel in uniform, arms slung casual, but eyes locked eternal. Your dad read the journal, she wrote. Says it explains a lot. The admission stunned Mark, the unyielding patriarch, cracking under history's weight. Alex booked a solo drive home, needing space to process. The interstate unspooled like a film reel, Ohio's flatlands a canvas for reverie. Willow Creek greeted with fireflies and familiarity, the Harper House porch swing creaking welcome. Mark waited there, flannel shirt crisp, a beer extended, not as peace offering, but gesture. Heard your thing's a hit, he grunted, settling beside. Awkward silence stretched, broken by Mark's rumble. Elias. I boxed his stuff after the war. Thought it queer, pun not intended. Dad did the same to his brother. Cycle, huh? The confession poured then, halting at first. Mark's youth shadowed by rumors of his uncle's fall from grace, a farmhand dismissed for indecencies. Made me fight harder to be normal, Mark admitted, gaze on the yard. Pushed you the same. Sorry don't fix it, but knowing? Might. Alex's throat closed. This man, who'd once wielded shame like a hammer, now wielded vulnerability. They talked till stars wheeled, football dreams, unspoken fears, forging a bridge from splintered wood. Energized, Alex returned to Chicago, but collision awaited. Victor, undeterred by defeat, launched a smear. Anonymous posts on queer forums, twisting the exhibit into glorified victim porn. Alex as opportunist pretty boy. Backlash hit. Canceled speaking gigs, donor pullouts. The center's director called Theo in optics matter. Step back from the project. Theo refused, but strain etched his face. Arguments with Alex flaring over minor slights. Theo's late nights. Alex's guarded silences. The rupture peaked at Pride, Chicago's streets a riot of sequins and solidarity. They marched, hands linked, but Victor's shadow loomed. His float sponsored, schmoozing elites. Spotting Alex, he approached, arm around a young intern. Still playing historian? The jab landed. Alex snapped. Unlike you, I honor the past, not exploit it. Onlookers murmured. A video clip went viral, framing Alex as aggressive. Theo confronted him post-march, rain-slicked in an alley off Halstead. You feed his narrative. We're building something. Why torch it? Hurt-fueled fury. Alex accused Theo of prioritizing career over chaos. Theo hurled back doubts of commitment. They splintered, Theo subletting a friend's couch, Alex retreating to the center's empty office, sleeping on cots amid file boxes. Jamie flew in, her New York edge a bomb. Breakups build better bonds, or better solos. But solitude amplified echoes. Samuel's watch ticking accusations, Elias's journal mocking frailty. A late-night call to Willow Creek connected him to Mark, voice gruff but steady. Fights happen. Men walk away or work through. Your call. Clarity dawned in fragments. Alex audited Victor's digital trail, uncovering not just smears but embezzlement, funds siphoned from other nonprofits. Armed with printouts, he pitched to the Sun-Times, a reporter's eyes widening at the scoop. Publication hit like thunder, Victor's empire crumbling in lawsuits and resignations. Vindication surged, but hollow without Theo. Reaching out took courage. A handwritten note slipped under Theo's door, quoting Auden anew. We must love one another and die. Theo appeared at dawn, rain-damp, eyes searching. I walked away once. Not again. Reconciliation was raw. Tears, truths, touches reaffirming boundaries. We're equals in this mess, Theo vowed. Partners, not saviors. Fall semester beckoned with promise. Theo deferred Boston for DePaul's tenure track. Alex transferred credits, eyeing a history major. The center thrived, exhibit touring to Ohio, Willow Creek's library hosting, Mark volunteering setup. Samuel visited virtually, his testimonial a finale, voice frail but fierce, love outlasts empires. Yet one twist lingered, a letter from Samuel post-visit. Coordinates to a Long Island plot, Elias's unmarked grave. Bury something there, for closure. The pilgrimage tested them anew, autumn winds whipping as they placed a stone-etched beloved, unforgotten. Kneeling in salt air, Alex felt history's arc bend, not toward erasure, but embrace. Back in Chicago, winter's hush settled. Theo proposed a joint paper on queer World War II narratives. Alex countered with a memoir outline, Threads of Eternity. Their life wove tighter. Dinners with Rosa, game nights sans Jamie's chaos, quiet mornings where touches spoke volumes. But prejudice's specter never fully fled. A center client, a teen echoing Alex's youth, reminded him the fight endured. As snow blanketed the lake, Alex reflected, shamed once, but history, Elias's, Samuel's, his own, proved resilience's quiet roar. Love, he learned, wasn't absence of storm but dancing in it, Theo's hand in his the truest map. Winter's grip loosened grudgingly, yielding to spring's tentative greens, but Alex's world tilted on a dime with an email from an unexpected quarter, the Kinsey Institute, inviting him to archive Elias's materials for their queer history collection. Your curation bridges personal and public, the curator wrote. Elation warred with terror, Bloomington, Indiana, meant uprooting, for hours south of Chicago's pulse. Theo's reaction, over takeout pad thai, was measured. It's huge. But us. The conversation stretched into dawn, vulnerabilities bared like winter bones. Theo confessed grad school jitters, imposter syndrome gnawing despite accolades. I built walls after Atlanta, family disowning, professors sidelining. You're my breach. Alex mirrored the fear, Willow Creek's scars flaring. What if distance echoes loss? Elias and Samuel survived separation. Can we? Resolution came in packed. Trial run, Theo visiting weekends, virtual dates bridging gaps. Packing distilled the ache, journal boxed tenderly, Samuel's watch pocketed like talisman. Farewell brunch at Rosa's brimmed with tears and tamales. She pressed a saint medallion into his palm. Santos protect lovers. The drive to Bloomington wound through farmlands, radio humming show tunes, Theo's playlist a ghost in the passenger seat. Campus welcomed with Gothic spires and intellectual hum, Alex's dorm a stark contrast to Boystown's vibrancy. Settling in, he immersed, digitizing letters, interviewing scholars, his voice gaining authority in seminars. Yet isolation crept, weekends a countdown to Theo's arrivals, train rides fraught with delays, hotel nights feverish with reunion. A new friend, Lena, a non-binary linguistics PhD, pierced the bubble. You're glowing, but guarded. Spill. Over campus coffee, Alex unloaded. The shaming, the exhibit, love's tightrope. Lena nodded, arc of their brow piercing. Queer life's a mosaic. Pieces fit, even jagged. Back in Chicago, Theo navigated solo currents. A fellowship offer from Harvard tempted, prestige clashing with proximity's pull. Mentors urged acceptance. Victor's fallout had cleared paths, but doubt lingered. Without you here, what's anchor? He journaled, Elias's influence seeping in. Rosa hosted strategy sessions, her pragmatism leavened with sass. Love's not lottery, invest. Collision brewed via miscommunication. A late seminar kept Alex from a planned call. Theo, stressed from comps, interpreted silence as drift. Accusations flew in texts. Pushing me out? You bail first? The rift widened, Theo ghosting. Alex spiraling into Bloomington's quiet nights, poring over archives like penance. Lena intervened, fly. Words unspoken buried deeper than distance. He did, landing at O'Hare unannounced, cab racing to Theo's lecture hall. Bursting in mid-discussion on Rustin's invisibility, Alex's plea halted the room. History's on our side, but only if we claim it together. Theo froze, then crossed the aisle, their embrace a seminar's standing ovation. Aftermath was excavation. Theo rejecting Harvard, Alex negotiating remote archive days. We're non-traditional, Theo laughed. Fits. Summer bridged them, a road trip tracing queer landmarks. Stonewall's ghosts in New York, Rustin's Philadelphia haunts. Jamie joined segments. Her gallery show a triumphant detour, sketches now murals. In a Provincetown B&B, Waves crashing below, they vowed permanence, not rings, but rituals. Annual pilgrimages to Samuel, who weakened but wizened, his tales a wellspring. Fall brought convergence. Alex's thesis proposal, Epistolary Ecologies, Queer Correspondence in Mid-Century America, earned nods. Theo co-authored sections, their synergy academic gold. Willow Creek visited too. Mark and Ellen road-tripping for a center talk, Mark's handshake with Theo firm, Ellen's hugs enveloping. Proud, Mark muttered post-lecture, the word seismic. But prejudice's hydra reared anew, subtler. Campus conservatives protested the archive donation, pamphlets decrying revisionist propaganda. Alex faced a town hall ambush, questions laced with venom, normalizing deviance. Theo, in audience, rose. History normalizes truth. Your fear? That's the deviance. The clap amplified, but ripples hit. Anonymous threats slashed tires on Alex's bike. Fear resurged, knights huddled, but solidarity fortified. Lena organized counter-events. Samuel sent a voice note, quavering. Fought Nazis, son. Bigots are amateurs. The storm passed. Exhibit remounted on campus, drawing crowds that swelled to dialogues. Straights questioning, allies affirming. Climax crested at Samuel's passing, winter's end. Florida called, Alex and Theo flying south. Mark surprisingly joining, redemption's full arc. At bedside, Samuel gripped Alex's hand. Loved well. That's victory. Graveside, under palms swaying elegy, they scattered hibiscus petals, Elias's bloom eternal. Grief honed clarity. Back north, Alex proposed, move in. Bloomington or Chicago, pick. Theo grinned, Chicago. Roots and wings. The apartment hunt yielded a Wicker Park walk-up, walls soon papered in letters, shelves groaning with histories. Spring bloomed defiant. Alex graduated, thesis lauded. Theo tenured whispers grew. Jamie's wedding, to a non-binary sculptor, drew the tribe, toasts weaving their tapestry. In quiet aftermath, Alex reflected, shamed into silence once, now voice of volumes. History, kin, love, his side, steadfast. Yet one final turn, a letter from Samuel's estate, a codicil naming Alex curator of his unpublished memoirs. For the boy who found us, it read. The weight settled light, a mantle not burden. Samuel's memoirs arrived in bound volumes, a trove of typewritten reflections spanning Brooklyn shipyards to Florida sunsets, laced with Elias's shadow and love's unspoken. Alex pored over them in the new apartment's bay window, sunlight slanting across pages like benediction, Theo brewing coffee in rhythmic counterpoint. This could be your next book, Theo suggested, sliding a mug close. Co-author. The offer sealed their rhythm, collaboration a daily dance, mornings debating phrasing, evenings reading aloud to Rose's critique circle. Willow Creek faded to fond visits, Mark's emails evolving to shared sports scores, Ellen knitting rainbow scarves. Jamie's life, a whirlwind of exhibits, looped them in via FaceTime, her laughter antidote to deadlines. But equilibrium invited upset. A publisher's advance for the memoir sparked envy in academic circles. Theo's colleagues murmuring of popularization over rigor. Pressure mounted. Theo's next paper stalled, imposter whispers amplifying. They see me as token. He confessed one stormy night. Thunder rumbling like unrest. Alex pulled him close. Your landmark. We pin this together. Your lens, my heart. Undertaking deepened bonds, but unearthed thorns. Samuel's drafts revealed fractures, a post-war affair soured by blackmail, a daughter's unwitting rejection upon learning truths. He carried shame we thought shed. Alex mused, the parallel to his own shaming a mirror held too close. Theo nodded, his own Atlanta ghost stirring, a brother's disownment, church's fire and brimstone ultimatums. External tempests gathered too. National headlines screamed anti-LGBTQ bills, Ohio's heartland hardening anew. Willow Creek's school board, swayed by zealots, banned queer texts, including Alex's exhibit tie-in book. Mark called, voice edged, towns dividing. Your name's mud to some. Rage flared. Alex rallied Chicago allies for a virtual town hall, Theo moderating, voices uniting across divides. The event crackled, teens testifying, elders echoing Samuel's resilience. Backlash boomeranged. Threats to the publisher, doxing attempts. Security shadowed their walks, sleep fragmented. In Nadir, Theo snapped. This exposure, it's devouring us. Alex countered. Hiding devours more. The clash peaked, Theo storming to Rose's, Alex alone with memoir's weight. Dawn brought reckoning. Theo returned, journal in hand. Elias's, borrowed from the archive. Read this. Storms pass, silence endures. We're storm, not silence. Forgiveness flowed, raw and renewing. Their lovemaking a reclamation. Tender, fierce, unspoken vows etched in skin. Summer's heat forged the book, echoes unsilenced, a queer century's hidden voices. Launch at the Newberry Library drew throngs. Samuel's daughter, estranged no more, toasting tearfully. Mark and Ellen in front row, pride etched plain. Victor, diminished to footnotes, sent anonymous flowers, apology or acid, irrelevant. Reviews cascaded. New York Times hailed a tapestry of triumph. Scholars debated, but impact rippled. Book bans challenged, curricula revised. Alex keynote at conferences, Theo beside, their duo a beacon. Jamie illustrated the paperback, her lines bold as their narrative. Fall deepened commitments. Theo proposed formally, not flash, but falafel picnic by the bean. Ring a simple band engraved eternity awaits. History's ours to write. Alex's yes echoed across waters, Samuel's spirit approving. Wedding planning wove whimsy. Boys Town ceremony, Ohio reception bridging worlds. Mark walked Alex down the aisle, metaphoric, mutual, his gruff, treat him right, to Theo a paternal seal. Vows invoked Elias. In shadows and light, we choose each other. Honeymoon in Provincetown traced first roads, waves whispering futures. Back, life layered. Alex's tenure track offer at DePaul, Theo's sabbatical co-teaching. A pregnancy surrogate query surfaced, Jamie's nudge, but they tabled, savoring duo's depth. Years blurred to milestones. Books Pulitzer nod. Samuel's plot a National Historic Site. Willow Creek's library named a wing Harper O'Reilly, Irony Suite. Prejudices persisted. National rolls back, local whispers, but their circle fortified. Lena's visits, Rose's godparent role. In quiet evenings, Alex traced Theo's locks, watch ticking beside. Shamed once, but history, familial, forged, stood sentinel. Love, deepest plot twist, proved the truest arc. Not absence of conflict, but its conquest, hand in hand.